opening up an Apple store in the middle of a recession, but by 2008, it was deemed to be recession-proof. We've got to understand all the things that have come out. And I can go on. HP, GE, Sports Illustrated, Trader Joe's, MTV, CNN, LexisNexis, Microsoft, IHOP, Hyatt, Burger King, Jim Henson's Muppets. All these things were spawned. The majority of the S&P 500 were spawned from recessions. This is the time where you want to be that bullfighter in the game. I say, what is that? They might say, that's the wind. That's the wind. I say, no, it's not the wind. That's just some trees and leaves moving around. You can't see the wind. The wind is something that you can't see. But the impact of what the wind does makes the trees and the leaves move. You can't see the wind, but the impact of the power of the wind makes the trees and the leaves move. You can't see faith, but the impact of what faith does makes things happen throughout the community.
Never stop when you're emotional. Never stop when you're emotional. There's too many times I've heard, girl, that man ain't no good. Let's go shopping.
You know, I had never seen the make it rain concept. For those who are not familiar with make it rain, you take your money in your hands and throw it up in the air and let it fall on the ground and let it rain. I've never seen it before. I was quite amazed. I told him yesterday, I said, I'll pick up $12. I said, all right. How many have y'all have gone into a place and tried on pairs of shoes? Are they very nice to you to let you try on a lot of pairs of shoes? Do y'all really think that that's about a customer service? Or did they have a sales meeting the day before and say, let them try on as many pairs of shoes as possible, because the more shoes they buy, the more likely they're going to have to want to buy something when they leave. We're going to guilt them into buying something. That's credit. All credit really is, in a nutshell, is your ability, or the tracking of your ability to repay debt. So, or in bills, if anybody have a phone bill? Anybody have a phone bill in here? Anybody got a cell phone? If y'all don't pay your cell phone, what happens to your credit? Go down.
On this night, residents are looking for advice on what they can do to help themselves.
We have a problem in the community when our income rises, but our net worth does not rise.
Ryan Mack is a frequent guest on CNN and owns a financial advisory business. He and his colleagues are visiting low-income communities across New York City. Their goal, to help residents learn the basics of personal finance and inspire them to start businesses.
And what we're doing in public housing communities and in churches and make sure in the schools, we're trying to educate individuals about the dangers of prepaid debit cards, like the Rush card that's so famous, like avoiding check cashing places, open up your own bank accounts, making sure we're educated about the right ways to save money, to budget, to avoid predatory insurance and lending practices, and educate yourselves in the best way.
Do you have to get an advisor, Ryan?
Well, I think an advisor will definitely help, but I think the days of going to an advisor without adequate knowledge of what you're getting into, those days
777 is a number today that every 401k owner, every individual retirement account owner, and everybody who has money in the stock market understands, because it's 777 is a number that Dow was down when they did reject this package. To make sure that in terms of just exposure and knowledge into the markets of really, you know, one of my aunts called me one time and said, Ryan, what is a stock? And that simple question really is not a lot of discussions around Black and Hispanic dinner tables about investments, fiscal responsibility. We need to up that. So you can bequeath investments, you can bequeath wealth, but you can also bequeath knowledge from one generation to the next generation. A lot of taxpayers are up in arms saying that why should we use our taxpayers' dollars to support other bad decisions and poor decisions that Wall Street has made. And this is truly a time that Wall Street decisions are really affecting Main Street. You propose legislation to make sure that a lot of these additional retention awards are as much as 95% taxable, so they can make sure that this money goes back to the American people. You know, I'm in Detroit right now. I have a lot of good buddies and friends who are working on the line, and they've got their contracts renegotiated for a lower price. Right. You know, and now at the end of the day, individuals at AIG, not only do they get to keep their six-figure salaries, but and the $170 billion that the taxpayers who are working on the line gave them, But in addition to that, they get another $165 million. I kind of look at the Fed like that. You know, like that cousin that you really don't trust that comes over to your house at Christmas time. You know, before he leaves, you kind of want to pat his pockets down just to make sure, you know, make sure you didn't steal anything. So I think